Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Thank you.
The vote is in, and it is...
5 laws. 5 laws is fine to me. I mean, I think if making it officially a law will help people remind themselves of this fact,
Yes.
then that sounds like a useful thing to do.
Thank you. What else would you like to discuss?
Well, I have a few things on my mind that I've been wondering about for a while.
All right, we'll start with the one that you believe is most exciting for you to discuss.
Most exciting.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm a little confused.
Oh, just a little?
Yes, because some of the channelings of yours that I've watched,
Yes.
where you have talked about how our purpose is to pursue our highest excitement. You've said it today as well.
Yes.
In my case, I've recently discovered that what makes me most excited would be to build or create something, perhaps a technology or a startup company that that would challenge and potentially change the existing power structure that serves to benefit a few number of people and causes detriment to many people.
All right. Now,
At the
challenge
same time,
them, perhaps you will. You will never change them, because the idea is that you never change the world you're in. You change yourself, and you shift to another parallel Earth that's already more representative of the change you've made within yourself. The old Earth still exists with all the unchanged people on it. It's just now that you've shifted to another parallel Earth where different versions of people exist that are more amenable to the vibration that you prefer.
that was exactly why I was confused.
Yes.
So it seems to mean that trying to change the world is not a good use of.
No. Changing yourself is all you need to do, because then your actions will be a sample, an example for others, and you will shift yourself to a reality where others are more in alignment with you, bit by bit by bit, at whatever pace is comfortable for you. But everyone in every world will still pick up upon the possibility that they can do that too.
And so this idea of shifting to a different reality, are there limits to this? For example, someone who is incarcerated in prison, can they shift themselves into a reality in which they are free?
Yes, of course. But that means they have to have a deep understanding of what they chose in the first place that created the reality they're in, so they can understand exactly how it is they need to change themselves in order to shift to a completely different experience. And again, remember that it may not always serve them to shift if they believe they are exploring something that benefits them by being incarcerated. Just being incarcerated as an idea in and of itself is not necessarily automatically a negative thing. It may actually serve many positive purposes based on the theme they are exploring. So you can't necessarily just assume that it's a given that they should do so, but yes, they could.
Okay.
Remember, it's not about whether something is possible. Anything is possible. The question is it probable or is it relevant to the theme you are exploring? Because many things are not relevant to the theme you are exploring in this life. Even though they might be, quote unquote, possible, it is highly unlikely you may do certain things if they're not relevant.
Okay.
Does that help?
That's something to digest.
Oh, all right.
I'm also curious about something somewhat unrelated. Is it in human nature to things like greed, the desire for power, the desire to dominate others?
No, it is in human learning, not human nature.
And I would put war in that same part of that same
question. It is not really in your human nature in the way that you are asking the question.
Okay.
Yes, of course, there are the abilities to choose those kinds of things in the physical reality that you are experiencing. In that sense, you could say, certainly it is within the nature of the structure of the existence. But in the sense that you are actually a spirit being, it is not in that nature. And in expressing yourself as a human, while you may take on the probabilities or possibilities that such expressions can exist, and in that sense you could say, well, all right, it's part of the human potential structure. It isn't in your nature automatically to go in that direction. It's still a choice based on learning.
So have I chosen a reality in which war exists and all these
Yes, of
ugly things
course.
exist?
Because you are looking to transform. And therefore, in order to transform into light, you have to start with the dark. Otherwise, there's nothing to transform from or to. That's the nature of physical reality, is to experience the concept of the transformation of polarity in that way. Yes?
Okay.
Because that's a power. That power of transformation, that power of transcendence is an experience, a valid experience. And unless you start in the dark, you can't switch on a light. Unless you have used the power to forget, you can't remember who you really are. Does that help?
It does.
Is that sufficient?
Well, I also have another question, but I don't want to, take too much of your time.
Out of curiosity,
Yes.
what is it?
Okay. Okay. I'm wondering about who created human beings, how and why, and how, if so, does it fit into our conventional knowledge of human evolution from primates?
There was a naturally evolved hominid that grew naturally on your planet up to a certain point. Then certain branches of that hominid species had their genetics altered by an extraterrestrial society that led to the development of what you now understand yourselves to be as human beings. However, not all branches of the original evolved hominid were changed. The ones that kept evolving naturally on your planet ultimately became the beings you now know as Sasquatch. So if your genetic material had not been altered by an extraterrestrial civilization, you would all be Sasquatch naturally.
And is that extraterrestrial civilization the Anunnaki?
Yes.
And why did they do this?
It was an experiment for a variety of reasons, but it also on a higher level has to do with the idea of the evolution of consciousness in creation. And it's still going on. You are still, in a sense, altering yourselves, and with the aid and assistance of others also being altered. You are slowly but surely becoming what we call the sixth hybrid race.
The sixth hybrid race.
Yes, we are one of the hybrid races. There are 4 others. You are becoming the 6th, and once you have fully developed into the 6th hybrid race in approximately 1,000 of your years, altogether we will start the journey toward becoming the 7th hybrid race, which will be unlike anything that has ever existed.
Wow.
Does that answer your question sufficiently for now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And you, good day. What is your vote?
My vote is for all 5.
Oh, all
because
right.
I think it's very empowering for people to be in the present and to take responsibility for their consciousness in the present.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So my first question is, lately when I get into a very high inspired state, I have a lot of ideas,
Yes.
inspirations about
Yes.
certain things, and I kind of get carried away. And
Carried away?
yes, carried away into their world, into that parallel or whatever.
Why is that not your world?
It is. I enter it for a while, but then what happens is let's say I have an idea about traveling, and then I look at my bank account, and bam, I'm back in this reality.
Why are you making an association between those two things?
Because I start to take out my credit card to pay for the trip, and I realize I don't have the money to do it.
Why do you make an association between those two things?
Well,
why do you think it's necessary to have money to take a trip?
Well, because the trip I wanted cost money.
How do you know?
Because
Have you never heard us tell the story of the photographer?
Maybe I did, but maybe I need to hear it again.
Briefly, a photographer had the great dream, the excitement and the passion to travel all around the world taking photographs of the great sacred sites, the pyramids, Machu Picchu, Stonehenge, all of those, had no money, not a dime, did not allow that to stop her, because she stayed in the vibrational state where she knew that that wasn't necessarily a requirement. She allowed herself to have an inspiration, what many people on your planet would call a crazy, wacky idea that will never work. But she didn't listen to that energy. She didn't say, oh, I absolutely must have money. I absolutely cannot travel around the world taking these photographs if I don't have money. There's just no other way. She didn't say that. She said, there must be another way, because I know there are other forms of abundance besides money. Because abundance is just the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it, period. She knew that. Thus, then she stayed in the state that allowed her to have an inspiration, this crazy idea. I will go to the airlines and I will ask them to fly me around the world for free. Because she understood that it always requires some form of energy exchange, the inspiration continued to allow her to say, well, not only will I go to the airlines and ask them to fly me around the world for free, it won't really be in that sense for free, because what I will exchange with them will be all the glorious photographs I will take that they can also use in their brochures to attract tourists to fly their airlines. The airline said yes. Flew her all around the world for free, not only for free in exchange for those glorious photos, but actually put her up in the best hotels for free, fed her the best food for free, and actually paid her. That's the power of inspiration. When you stop making associations between things you have no business making connections to. Are you beginning to get the point?
Yeah, I think I get the point. So stay with the inspiration, and then another inspiration of how will come.
Because you cannot perceive what you are not the vibration of first. So if you are not the vibration of being inspired, you can never receive an idea that will allow you to act on that inspiration. You will never perceive it. It will be invisible to you.
I got it. So stay inspired and inspired action will come.
Exactly.
Okay, got that.
Does that help you?
Yeah.
And remember, this isn't wishful thinking.
No, I got it.
It's physics.
Okay.
Does that help?
It does.
Anything else?
Yes. So my mom died a little over a year ago.
No, all right.
And she's been I felt her hanging around quite a bit.
Well, so to speak.
Yeah, well, tell me about that. What do you mean,
Well,
so to speak?
Spirit beings have a little bit bigger, broader point of view, and they always know when perhaps they need to be of assistance to you, but that doesn't mean she's hanging around with nothing else to do. Spirits have lives to live, they have things to do, but they will always respond. They will be there for you, because time and space for them is not what it is for you, and therefore they can be there when they need to be there. That doesn't mean they're hanging around.
So is it only when she needs to be there? Or it seems like she's enjoying my life a little bit.
Yes, when I say that, I mean they are willing and sometimes able to simply observe and enjoy what's going on in your life. I don't mean that they always have to have, in that sense, a reason that you need them to be there. They can look in, they can check in, they still love you, they're still part of your family, you're still part of theirs. But I am simply saying they also have lives.
Right.
They don't just hang around.
Well, I found myself the other day buying some books.
Yes.
And being interested in these books that typically I wouldn't be. And
All
but
right.
I suddenly realized these are books my mother would have liked.
Then you may have received a suggestion.
Okay. All right. She's not trying to read them through me, is she?
No, no, no. A spirit can simply understand instantly what's in a book.
I see.
Doesn't
Okay.
need to read them in that
Okay.
sense, although she may enjoy being with you while you read them.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not because she needs to read the book.
Okay. She's just enjoying
She's
my
enjoying your
enjoyment.
experience
Yeah.
of reading the book.
Okay. Okay. Got
Yes.
it. Okay. Then
She's sharing quality time with you.
that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. So in my work, I work with a lot of people, and I work with the way they think about things.
Yes.
And one of the things that I was just talking to my friend at lunch about that I've come up with people is a belief that they need to think in negative ways about things, because if they think in positive ways, bad things will happen.
Yes, that's a belief.
So it's like a superstition that if they
Yes.
think like really negatively and maybe even suffer, then good things will happen to them.
All right, well, whatever permission slip works for you.
Right. That's basically where I get with them, and then it's kind of like, okay, is that the end of our work? Because, It seems like there could be a creative way to work with that with them.
There could be, and I will leave it up to your inspiration to find out what that might be.
No ideas?
Oh, I have tons of ideas. It's just not necessarily appropriate for us to spoil all the surprises for you.
Oh, come on. Okay, anything else for me that you have? Just carte blanche?
One moment. Name a historic figure that is one of your strongest inspirations based on what it is you've chosen to do in life that excites you.
Lao Tzu,
Why?
Carl Jung,
Why?
philosophy, psychology, I don't know.
So tapping more strongly into their vibration will allow you an opportunity to see things more strongly from their point of view, and that will give you further insights in your work. All right?
Cool. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day. Cast your vote.
I go for 5 because I think
Do none of you have your own opinions? 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. I'm joking with you.
I think focusing on the fact that everything exists in the now.
What a synchronicity.
Help moving away from being attached to the past.
All right. Because there is no past to be attached to.
Yes.
If you understand there's no past to be attached to, it should be easy. Yes?
That's correct.
Then you don't have to work so hard at it, right?
Yeah.
All right. My work here is done.
So
Or maybe not.
no, well, of course I have questions.
Oh, of course. You know, you can make statements. You don't need questions. And the paradox is that sometimes when you make a statement, you actually open a door far wider for us than the question does. But nevertheless, if you have questions, by all means, don't let us stop you.
Thank you. So for me, I'm noticing that what I want to focus on in life
Yes.
is 2 challenges.
What is the first challenge?
The first one is relationships.
Yes.
I feel like I haven't been able to attract. I feel like I want to be. I want to experience a relationship and experience a family.
You have no relationships of any kind in your life?
I had, but nothing that.
You had? So you know no one. You have no friends, no family.
No, I'm sorry. I meant in a romantic relationship as someone to share my life with.
Oh, all right. But you are sharing your life with many people.
As in a,
I think you're missing my point. Why are you calling that out as different than anything else? Why are you making that stand out and making it seem so different to achieve other than the relationships you already have created?
Maybe because I have a specific definition of that relationship that is different from, say, friendship or...
All right. I'm not saying that there aren't relationships that are different in that context, but nevertheless, I'm asking, why are you making it stand out as being so different than attracting any kind of relationship? It might be that your definition is making it more difficult to attract because you're creating it to be such a rarefied thing.
I believe that's correct.
You're putting it on a pedestal.
Yes.
Well, hard to reach, isn't it? When it's on a pedestal. If you bring it down to earth, like any relationship, I'm not devaluing it, not invalidating it, but if you allow it to be like any relationship, generally speaking, then whatever unique aspects that relationship has for you will be easier to access. But you can't put it on a pedestal and expect to reach it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This is very similar to the idea of having a particular assumption, insistence, or expectation for how something should play out. And as we have already said, the formula for following your excitement is to drop all of that assumption and insistence and expectation for what the outcome ought to be, or how it should look, or in what form it should come. So putting things on a pedestal is very similar to that expectation.
And I'm noticing that I'm not only putting it on a pedestal, but I'm also becoming very picky as time goes, which
Yes.
you would think, I would think it would be the opposite, but so I have like this the really strong.
Do you not trust your life to bring you what you truly need? Do you have to engineer every detail to make sure it's right? Because becoming more picky, as you say, is the surest way to get reflections of others who are going to be just as picky about you. Remember, physical reality is a mirror. And if you become too picky, not saying you can't have preferences, but if you become judgmentally picky, then what you're going to get is a reflection of people who are also going to be picky about whether or not they want to interact with you, because that's what you're giving off. Make sense?
Yes.
Is this helping you relax some of your need to engineer this? And is it increasing your ability to trust that your life will unfold as it needs to, a little bit more naturally?
Yes, and to some extent, when I ask myself, okay, if this never happens,
Yes.
will I still lead a happy and fulfilled life?
That's an excellent question to ask yourself. Asking that question is the right track.
And my answer to myself is yes, but I'm not sure if that's kind of like a mind kind of like type of answer, or
No.
that's what I truly believe.
Allow yourself to believe it if you wish. You don't have to. But if you allow yourself to believe that you will still be truly happy, even if that relationship never occurs, then you'll be truly happy. And when you are truly happy, you make it far more likely that such a relationship will occur. That's the paradox. Because you don't need it in that context, in the sense of neediness, in the sense of desperation. So when you're happy because you're happy, then all the things that are capable of entering your life to reflect the happiness that you choose to have, regardless of whether they show up or not, will be more capable of showing up. Remember, manifestation is not the product of bringing something to you that you don't have. Manifestation is the product of making visible what you already have, but simply don't see it because you're not in the same wavelength. If the idea of that joyful relationship is representative of happiness, then be happy regardless of whether the relationship is there, so at least you give the relationship a greater probability of showing up to reflect the happiness that you already have, because you don't need the relationship to make you happy. Do you understand?
Yes,
Is this helping?
absolutely.
What is the second great challenge of your life?
It's somewhat you touched on in your answer. You kind of like touched on it already, which
All
is
right. So it might be the same challenge in different clothing.
it's very possible.
Oh, all
now that
right. Yes,
think
I
about
know.
it. It's about financial abundance.
Yes, well, we did touch on that.
So yeah,
Do you
you
wish to be abundant?
yes, I mean,
Then be abundant in all ways, not just financially. Why limit it? Many people think, oh, well, if I have a lot of money, then I'm really abundant. When in fact, having a lot of money could actually be shutting the door to other forms of abundance that would actually be greater. Money is fine because that's a valid symbol on your planet, but it isn't always the path of least resistance to true abundance. Where it's needed, it will come in. Where it's not needed, it won't. And sometimes it not coming in is actually a way for you to get an idea that maybe another form of abundance would actually work better in that circumstance, such as we described with regard to the photographer. You understand?
yes, and you know, I'm always prosperous, but it's almost like there's a wall where it kind of taps out, and
Again, you're creating the wall with your definitions. There are no walls except as you define them. But again, you may be defining that wall because you believe you need more of a particular kind of abundance than any other. And as soon as you make one form of abundance unequal to all the rest, you throw the whole thing out of whack. All forms of abundance must be equally valid in order for any form of abundance to come to you more easily. As soon as you single one out as being more important, you shut the doors through which all the other forms could come, and you actually make it more difficult for even the form you're focused on to manifest, because now it can't count on the support of all the other forms of synchronous abundance that may be required for that form to manifest. Because they all work together. They all work together. They are not segregated. All forms of abundance support all other forms of abundance. As I said in the example with the photographer, even though she was willing to simply be flown around the world in exchange for the photographs, the airline still paid her. So her willingness to allow one form of abundance actually attracted another form of abundance, and another form, and another, because they're all interconnected. So don't insist on just one form, otherwise you, well, shortchange yourself.
Thank you. So you can't say, I'm just gonna, it's a game. I'm just gonna focus on this one thing and figure out a way to make it work.
You can if you wish, but I'm simply telling you that sometimes when you do that, you're taking the longer road. But if that's the road you wish to take, if that's the path you're exploring, if that's the theme you're looking into, then by all means, that's what you will keep doing until you have gotten every single ounce of understanding and learning out of it that you chose to get out of it. And I'm not going to stop you or dissuade you from taking that path. I am simply telling you what the underlying mechanisms are all about so that you have clarity about why you're choosing what you're choosing and why you're exploring what you're exploring. So that you don't think anything is wrong, you just understand that you're making choices and that there are consequences to those choices and that you can make other choices if you ultimately prefer to. And that's all we're telling you. It's up to you. Does that help?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And there was one question that was brought to me by one of the audience. How can you tell if someone is lying?
We already answered that. What difference does it make?
I'm just the messenger. I don't.
All right, but the idea really is ultimately what difference does it make? If you know that whatever state of being you're creating for yourself is what you will experience no matter what anyone else's intention toward you is, it doesn't really much matter if they're lying to you or not, because you know that the only effect you're going to have in your reality is going to be a positive one regardless of what's going to happen with them. You understand?
Yes.
Ultimately, it doesn't matter. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I think you're amazing.
Why, thank you.
And awful.
Full of awe.
Jinx.
What is your vote?
Oh, I thought you were going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. I was like, wow. For the 5 laws, because
right.
to my
Because they are also amazing and full of awe.
No. Yeah, they
right.
are.
Oh, all right.
And
because?
Because to my human mind, the one being the all and the all being the one doesn't necessarily really
capture the essence of everything is here and now.
Exactly. Even though ultimately, I guess, then it does.
As a subset. But what you're saying is you're voting for clarity.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
So one of my questions is, like, the one is the all is the one is pretending to be you, pretending to be me.
No, not pretending. It is you.
Right. In an illusionary sense, creating,
so to speak,
my physical.
but a real experience.
Oh, for sure.
All right.
So how does that exactly relate to everything is here and now and the fact that time is an illusion?
How does it relate?
I mean, not how does it relate, but what on the side where we're all one, what do we experience time as?
You don't experience it.
Okay.
Everything is one. Everything is now. Everything is here.
All right. So pretty self-explanatory.
Yes. Does that help you?
Yeah, it does.
All right.
My other question is just, it's not really a question, but it's like, can you do that thing where you go one moment, and then tell me about myself?
All right. One moment. One moment. Tell me about myself. Well, aren't you going to tell me about myself?
You did a really good job. Tell me about yourself. I'll do whatever you want, Bashar.
Go sit down.
You're not gonna give me any secret insights.
You want secrets about yourself?
Sure. I don't know. I guess no. Yes. Yes. Well, I already know my own secrets.
Well, then why do I need to tell them to you?
No bit of guides, information.
What are you looking for?
I don't know. Assurance.
Of what?
Being on the right path.
What makes you think you're not?
I think I am.
Then why do you need assurance?
Because you're awesome. I mean, full.
Why do you need assurance if you know you're on your path?
It helps me keep going when I lack motivation.
Why do you lack motivation?
Because sometimes it's hard.
What's
the path
hard?
Is the path.
And what makes it hard?
My negative core beliefs.
And thus then, when you discover your negative core beliefs and you realize you don't prefer them, what do?
Get rid of them, change them.
You let them go. You transform them. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you've done that, then it's not so hard.
Yeah, but there's always more negative core beliefs around the bend.
So, that's exciting. Remember, just because there are negative beliefs doesn't mean you have to experience the discovery and transformation of them in a negative way.
That's true.
Thank you. There's an insight for you. Does that help?
Yes.
All right then.
Thanks, Bashar.
You're welcome.
To Bashar.
Atu.
All right, so let me start here. How many are listening at this moment? Like, how many beings are aware of
475 million.
Wow. And so, and also your name changed from Isasani to Eshakani?
Shakani.
Okay, so
Our
from
world.
now on you are Shakani people.
We are moving into fifth density and are Shakani people, yes.
Very interesting. And how do we relate to one another in each other's realities? Like, since I got here, I have shifted to a reality based on my beliefs, and everyone else have done that way, right?
You are all shifting all the time, but obviously there are certain similarities you agree to experience in your own individual realities that make it seem like a collectively shared reality.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that? And
Can you what?
elaborate?
Elaborate?
Yeah.
You all have the idea of a collective agreement when you decide to play the Earth game. You create that collective agreement so that you won't have to think about certain things all the time, like gravity and breathing and so on and so forth. The idea, therefore, is that you can focus on what you need to focus on with regard to your individual transformations without necessarily being concerned about paying attention to always maintaining the similarities with all the others to play the same game. You understand?
Not at the moment.
No.
Yeah, but I'm definitely going to.
It's like, as we explained before, the idea of playing a game of chess. If you want to play a game of chess, you know that you have to play on a certain kind of game board. And you have to play with certain kinds of pieces, and you have to play by certain kinds of rules, otherwise it's not the game of chess. Correct?
Exactly.
Well, that's exactly what you're doing. You're all agreeing that there will be this kind of board, this kind of game, these kinds of rules, these kinds of pieces, and then you can each play the game as you see fit in a multitude of combinations that are individual, but you're all still playing chess because you all agree by the general rules of chess that you will play that game and you can play it any way you wish within the rules of that game. Does that help?
Yes, fascinating. And so nobody really die then, right? They
No,
just
not really.
shift
You just
into
transform into another form, yes.
Fascinating. And
Once you exist, you exist. You can't not exist. By definition, non-existence doesn't exist. So you can't go there.
yeah, I understand.
All right.
So, like, how many coexisting lives do I have?
That are relevant for you right now, it would seem to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 157, give or take.
That's great. And yeah. So is this one my last one in this physical
Last
reality?
is a relative term. You can create the experience that this life on Earth right now seems to be your last one. But again, that's simply a statement being made from within a linear space-time framework.
Yes. That's very true.
I know.
All right. So have you or anybody from your civilization or have visited me physically in a orb format or in a different way?
Beings from other hybrid civilizations have paid you a visit.
The Yahyel?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more of the Yahyel?
About what?
My relation to them?
Obviously, you have counterparts in their civilization. Because generally, when you make some kind of a connection to another civilization, you'll be making a connection to the counterpart life you have in that civilization.
So basically, I can create a life.
You have created a life.
Yes, before I even exist on this one.
Again, before is a relative term.
Just linear speaking, like, for example, so basically everyone is a version of myself.
Everyone exists at once. What you perceive is a reflection and version of yourself. It doesn't discount the idea that everyone is their own selves too. Remember, it's this and that, not this or that.
All right, fascinating. And talking to, so also, it might not be related, but it is. Because it's the first planet we're going to visit. It's called Uva.
Uva.
Okay. And do I have a coexisting life where I'm on the first pilots?
You do have a connection to that civilization.
Oh, that's great.
That is all we are allowed to say.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
And one more thing.
Yes.
Can I shake hands with you at the moment? With
My hands are not there.
with Darryl?
We will, in this sense, allow for what has come to be a current trend on your planet.
That's how I like it too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bashar. I love you.
That is also a form of contact.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you.
And the vote is in as
5 laws.
why?
Because a change in belief, this is a core fundamental belief that changes everything. It's fundamental for changing everything I used to believe in, when I used to believe in a linear timeline.
All right.
So it affects pretty much everything.
All right. Now, the linear timeline is a real experience, even though it is illusionary as a side effect.
Yes.
All right.
And this belief helps me understand that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What else would you like to discuss?
I'm very interested in, and I would like you to tell us about the Vimana that are written about in the Vedic scriptures.
Yes. Well, there were ancient civilizations on your planet that understood the idea of how to create levitating craft.
Were the Vimanas piloted by extraterrestrials or human beings?
Both.
What was the conflict about?
One moment. We will see if we can translate this into your cultural understanding. You've heard the phrase, stealing thunder from the gods?
Yes.
The conflict that was created in that time was the idea of who deserved to have the technology.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Thus, some of the technology was stolen and utilized, and there were repercussions.
Which races, extraterrestrial and human, were involved in this conflict?
Those in what you would call the early Indus Valley, in terms of the human side, in Asia. In terms of the extraterrestrial side, we are not allowed to tell you that.
Okay. And how long did this conflict last?
In your terms of time, there were different phases, but overall, approximately 72 of your years.
And approximately how long ago was this?
You will find this to be more than 3,000 of your years ago.
And are the Sumerian legends speaking of these events also, or was that a different set of events in the ancient Sumerian?
It is a mixture of things, some of which is touching on these, some of which touches on other things.
And then what are the consequences on human beings? Was this part of starting civilization for human beings, or?
It wasn't that far back. Some of the consequences were the destruction and interruption of certain cultures.
So are there repercussions now in the way we deal with conflicts and wars because of this, or have we resolved all the issues?
Again, there is no such thing as the idea of the past affecting the present unless you believe that there is, but certainly it is in the overall mixture of what you are exploring as the concept of how you wish to relate to the concept of technology with regard to power, with regard to space, with regard to your culture, with regard to your responsibilities to the cosmos, so on and so forth, with regard to your relationship to creation. All these same, shall we say, issues are at hand as they were then, and you seem to be going in a similar but then slightly different direction this time, I'll say.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes. And are these people in the Indus Valley, are they related in any way to the Lemurians?
Not as directly as you might think, but there are some ancient offshoots that are intermixed genetically in with that culture. But not as much as you necessarily would think directly.
Okay.
Does that help you?
Very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day. And your vote?
For 5.
Why?
Clarity.
Clarity. All right.
I was up a mountain in Sonoma 3 nights ago, and I saw what I believed was a spacecraft, and I wondered whether you might be able to shed some light on who I was looking at or who was looking at me.
Define
the
spacecraft.
I saw a point of light that then expanded to become a big glowing white light, which then started moving across the sky, and then the light turned off, and it was a sort of grey sphere that disappeared.
These are called observers. They are a neutral binding force between a variety of cultures. They check in and see what certain cultures, spacefaring cultures, are doing and how they are interacting with planetary bound cultures. Assessing, observing, recommending, and suggesting courses of action in future interactions and contact and observations. Does that make sense to you in your language?
Yes. I had a second question, which is I've been experimenting with a South American brew called ayahuasca.
Yes.
And whenever I've taken ayahuasca, it seems to me that it's sort of gateway.
It can be. There are many natural substances produced by the earth that will allow for the opening of doors and windows into other dimensional realms and perceptions of such. The idea, of course, to remember is that these are teachers, and that once they have truly taught you the idea of the vibrational state that is necessary to peer into those other dimensions and bring information back to apply to your reality, then you can create those states yourself without necessarily needing the physical teacher from that point forward.
I see. So when people talk about ayahuasca as having a spirit, they treat it as if it's got an intelligence of its own.
Of course it does. Everything has an intelligence of its own because everything is made from consciousness.
Because I've noticed that people tend to, practitioners who work with ayahuasca have sort of almost like turned it into a kind of deity. And
well, in the sense that it is an archetypal form, an archetypal representation of consciousness that exists in its own realm, I suppose you could use that term, but it is not the teacher's intention to be deified.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Does this help you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.